Game of Week 3 where Counter Logic Gaming face off against FlyQuest. Let's take a look at the players taking to the stage. First up, selecting blue side, it's Counter Logic Gaming. In the top lane, Darshan. In the jungle, Rainova. Mid laner, Huhi. Their bot laner, Stixay, support by Frost and Coach Six.
And on the red side, it is FlyQuest. Up top is Flame. In the jungle, again starting today, will be Shrimp. In the mid lane, Keen, bottom, Wild Turtle, support Stunt, and Coach Rapid Star on stage.
Yesterday, CLG fans were able to celebrate the win over Fox, but it's not all sunshine and rainbows just yet, is it, Kobe?
No, it is not. CLG fans will know that one win does not make a season, and they did show, significantly more restraint yesterday in their gameplay. They did have Nunu in the jungle, so, diving and stuff is going to be a lot less likely, and Rainover was more focused on objective gameplay, and then they had Blood Boil for later. But just because they had success yesterday does not mean that they will forget about all of the problems that they had in the first couple of weeks. So they're still going to have to watch some of the over-diving and some of the chasing into losing scenarios.
And for FlyQuest, they took a tough loss versus Team Liquid, but it's important to point out they still haven't started with their full roster, so some room to grow.
Very true. As we said, Shrimp again is starting here. Keen has been playing as well since Fly's died in, so a lot of the academy players for these positions are still playing, and they're moving around a lot of these parts. That does make it a little bit more difficult to secure what style you're going to be playing with, and is Keen working that well with Anda? Is he working that well with Shrimp? How are the synergies going to be built, and what is this team finally going to look like? Right now, they're still trying to figure that out. And we're in a champion select.
Yeah, bans are done actually for Phase 1. Talia, Zach, and Azir for CLG with Zoe, Callista, and Galio banned by FlyQuest. And Kog'Maw is already locked in.
Yay! More Rage Blade Rush, Kog'Maw. Definitely a super reliable and super successful marksman at this point in the bottom lane. That's going to be for Stixay, and Stixay was really the focus of a lot of criticism early on in the struggles for CLG. In addition to Rainover and the team communication, diving in a lot, but he stepped up really big yesterday on the Callista game. They did have the Blood Boil for him as well, so putting some more faith into him.
They may have it again, actually. Nunu was not banned of note here in this one, so we'll see if they pick it up. Rainover is going to flash us the Yeti, as Tristan and Sejuani were the first picks for FlyQuest, so a total special and a nice solid tank jungler. It's Jarvan.
Yeah, Jarvan going to be helping in this game, and we'll see about the engagements. That does, kind of bring up the questions of what are they looking for to complement this engagement from Jarvan. Jarvan is good at creating a front line, creating that territory with the Cataclysm to work around. And sometimes you'll have champions like Gangplank that also use zone control and the barrel stacking for later to create these zones for Kog'Maw to work around. So it's not like a traditional front line for Kog'Maw, but it is a lot of things that the enemy has to worry about. They kind of touched on that in the analyst test, where a lot of space on the ground starts to get taken up in the late game teamfights, and this could be another case of that. Gnar here is a good answer from FlyQuest, so you get to use that Cataclysm against them, knock everybody into the walls with Gnar.
Good against the GP as well, which was Darshan's pick here for this game. So the hot favorite matchup, Gangplank versus Gnar.
It's all the rage.
It is all the rage currently, but Aurelion Sol taken away from who he just never know when he might pick it, and there's Cassio also banned, by CLG.
Yeah, I'm thinking that Keen is going to look for another one of those high damage kind of scaling mid laners. This has been his tendency recently. He's performed well on in it, and I think it's an intelligent move here for CLG to ban out the two that he has liked the most. Azir is gone, Cassiopeia is gone, so we'll see what he goes to next as far as mid lane AP threat for FlyQuest to try and find out their composition.
Although was FlyQuest's second ban, so mid laner number 4 in Phase 2 perhaps? Yes, Rise banned, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 mid laners banned again.
Been the name of the game today.
Yep.
A lot of mid lane focus. We'll see about this though. FlyQuest get their first pick of the litter.
All right, Orianna appears to be a crowd favorite, so they'll take that one here. We'll see what he responds with. Pretty safe line pick there from Keen, but he's played against this champion a ton in his career. Most professional mid laners have. So we'll see what he does want to take here. And of course, CLG have one more pick to make as well. Need a support, so we'll get first pick here in their duo lane.
Yeah, if I'm CLG, things like Braum are definitely super valuable because you're looking for, oh, is there a Tom Kench or a Braum or the likes to protect this Kog'Maw? But looks like they're going to go for the hard engage option, as we saw last game as well. Alistar going to come out here from Biofrost. See if he can hold that one up.
He was a big Rakan player as well. Alistar has some similarities there, and it is Zilean for Huhi. So once again,
that's that protection that you're looking for then. If you have the engagement coming from your support role, then Huhi will try his hand once again at Zilean. Remember when CLG pulled it out earlier this season, it wasn't that effective, and there were a couple moments where you're like, well, probably needs a little bit more time on this champion to get the quicker double bomb activations and a little bit of the positioning down. But we'll see. Attempt number 2 here from Huhi on the Zilean, and that will mean that possibly Kog'Maw, possibly the front line, will have the extra life to work with.
Yep. And Stunt saying, if you're not going to take Braum, I will. And he selects that as his support for this match. Curious stuff here between the two. I feel like CLG, a lot of these parts make sense. Solid bot lane, especially a nice mid-game threat in Kog'Maw there for Stixxay. Rainover on something solid. Dashan kind of more on carries recently. As always, Huhi is the wild card for CLG, so something a little different here to try and protect these big late-game carries.
Yeah, and this Zilean pick does feel more like, oh, we've had a ton of mid-lane bans coming through, and since Keen has already picked Orianna, that's comfortable into it. It's not so much one of those situations where like, oh, the other team is super hard dive, and they're looking to blow one person up, and this is going to be the team counter. Because, you know, Tristana and Orianna, fairly standard carries on the other side.
Yep, solid front line as well for Fly to complement those. In fact, Braum, and Sejuani all making team fighting fairly straightforward. So CLG might run into trouble, depending on how they start these 5v5s. But things are on the up for these teams. Pretty important time to try and win. They're both tied in the standings at 2 and 3. A win here ties them with TSM. As the loud FlyQuest fans continue.
I mean, a lot of CLG ones. You getting both parts of that, pastry?
I am. Turns out, when FlyQuest fans yell go FlyQuest, the CLG fans yell CLG.
I like the coordination between both sets of fans.
I always feel like
they
this
leave space enough for the other fan to get their.
That's very thoughtful. That would not happen at other sporting events. You would just get more yelling and probably more fists. Instead, we'll move out into Summoner's Rift for our final game of week 3. CLG and Fly on the hunt for win number 3. Looking to bat a 500 here after the first 3 weeks of play.
Great lung capacity as well.
Yeah, you guys on shotcast? Certainly got the stamina. Stixxay has found one. It's Wild Turtle. Just a bit of extra damage. Rowdy, I'm enjoying it. The Shrimp is casing the joint, seeing what's going on around the left-hand side of mid. Dashan has pushed himself into a brush. And we can check in with the runes now. Some unsealed spellbooks. CLG certainly strike me as an unsealed spellbook kind of team. Kobe, they do have 2.
Yeah, keep your eyes out for Biofrost to swap over to teleport if he doesn't use the Ignite early in lane. It's definitely possible for those guys to go for kills.
Oh, we found one. Just a bomb though. Still going to take some damage, but nothing too tricky. Does deny any potential vision he wanted to get down. He had his trinket up, so not going to be able to see that. And Rainover, as we can see, is going to start on this red buff, but shouldn't be too surprising.
Yeah, they are giving him a leash here from the bottom side, though, whereas FlyQuest Duo just going to let Shrimp farm his own camp, and they're going to get the early shove. This is always an interesting debate. And in solo queue, it's pretty much always, hey, you better leash for your jungler on first buff, right? But so much in competitive, we see the importance on getting the early shove in lane. That teams will sacrifice some early jungler health, making them do their own camp by themselves, in exchange for this right here, Wild Turtle and Stunt. Braum, Tristana, it does have high kill pressure because you can engage on them from deep in the lane. You have Braum, Stun, and the slows coming out from his Q as well. Try and stack up and get kills.
Ooh, a level 2 gank here from Rainover. Sign on to Keen, doesn't flash, still the knock-up land. Double bomb is good. Keen flashes out from under the second one.
Exactly. So in that situation, he was very close to getting on the other side of the range for the stun, so Keen wanted to save his flash. But he should have been able to judge right there that the EQ from Rainover is going to hit. And once EQ hits, you know automatically who he's going to go for the double bomb. So in that case, he would rather flash early, flash the EQ, so he doesn't take any of the damage in the trade. In the end, he flashes afterwards and does have to chug a part of his health potion there, but could be optimized a little bit.
Too bad though. Shrimp now level 3 goes back towards his blue side of the jungle. Rainover though, I like to pressure, especially given that Shrimp did not get help. But you were talking about this earlier. Hunter's Machete and Sejuani do let you do your single camps pretty easily. Take the Scuttle Crab here and demonstrate exactly that.
Scuttle Crabs are pretty much free health gold for Sejuani.
And vision.
Because, because of the way that your permafrost works, it's very easy to stack it up, even if you're just level 2 with a point in W and E. And you can see there, you get an instant execution on it, lowering its armors and magic resist because you both stun it, as well as get your bonus damage from your auto afterwards. And Shrimp easily is able to continue with the kind of standard route here, where he now transfers down to the Krugs and steals those. Meanwhile, though, an extra little steal from Rainover as he went to go grab the Raptors, which, as we said before in the last game, Sejuani, when she starts Machete, doesn't go for Raptors unless it's kind of the last option, because you have no Talisman heal, and they beat you.
Smart awareness there from Rainover. Take that camp away, but some farming for the most part between these junglers. Flame, though, getting dashed on pretty low in these early trades. Playing aggressive in the Nar matchup. We saw fleet footwork from Licorice last game. This time, the much more aggressive Airy there from Flame, trying to get a bit more lane dominance. It's a 6-8. Gonna get some shots blocked by Stunt Turtle. Got a little low, but that's protection there from his support.
Yeah, Kog'Maw is very effectively able to trade back and 2v1 even sometimes early on in lane, especially against matchups where the enemy support is a melee. Because of the extra range with your Bio Arcane Barrage when activated, not really a lot of counterplay there for the other team, unless they're trying to take an all-in or something. Opens up an opportunity here for Stunt to roam up, though, and get some wards on Rainover. As we said, Rainover taking the Raptor camp got him a camp ahead, but because Shrimp saw that his Raptor camp was gone, he also assumed, I believe, that it was a double counter jungle from Rainover, so I don't think he even went to check his own Krugs, and Shrimp down 2 camps, actually, since Rainover got his full side clear and one of Shrimp's, without Shrimp going to check every single one. Rainover once again able to get that early camp lead with his pathing.
Yeah, and a decent gold lead there for Rainover of a few hundred, but most importantly, a full level lead. That's what he's currently holding there over Shrimp.
Yeah, way more important in the early game. Levels mean so much. Not only do you get your extra point in one of your abilities, but the gold value of a level just in the stats you get from leveling up in your health and your attack damage and attack speed for most champions is around the 500 mark. Varies for everybody, but very, very valuable there.
Rainover also just taking a tour of the left side jungle here in FlyQuest. Lots of good vision, and again, going for the steal.
Yeah, because he took it the first time, he has the exact timer on respawn, and Rainover went to check both camps because he wasn't sure if Shrimp knew that he hadn't counter-jungled the Krugs. Turns out he went and found it was still there as well, so now he knows that he is +2, or maybe even +3 here on Shrimp.
This is starting to get troublesome here as Shrimp's camps are stripped away by Rainover. But again, Rainover always with that intelligent path in. Kuhi finds a control ward and takes it down.
And even though the numbers are kind of evened up when you get Scuttle Crabs, Scuttle Crabs still give you 4. That's why you can see this CS pretty close there. Scuttle Crabs don't give a lot of experience. They're definitely valuable for the gold and for the kind of free health that we talked about, since they don't attack you back. But that also kind of adds to how Rainover was able to get the level lead.
It looks like buffs are respawning, so Keen's going to wander over and get his blue. Turtle in bottom lane with a BF sword. Looks like back's coming for CLG as well, but Turtle's been playing pretty aggressively in this lane. A little behind on CS, but trying to just keep the lanes pushed up and turrets pressured. 6-8 gets his first 2. Let's call them good components of the raid though.
Yeah, let's talk more about this matchup since we see it so often. The average globally is around like 15 CS or whatever. Early lead for Gnar because of, last game we're talking about mini Gnar harass into the threat of Mega Gnar all-ins. Currently, Flame doing a decent job. He's got his 10 CS lead here in the Gnar TP matchup already. And that's after the minion waves have kind of stabilized and meet right back out in the middle. So Flame doing a pretty good job of harassing early. You mentioned the Airy he had. Here's the invade though. Shrimp on his red. Rainover continues to be very oppressive, and now he's got the mid lane push. So mid laner helps secure that steal.
Nice zone there from Hui. He throws the bombs in towards Shrimp, who doesn't feel safe face checking, and Rainover now 6, stealing the red buff away, continuing to take good prizes out of FlyQuest jungle.
Yeah, Shrimp finally now going to be able to answer something at least. He's definitely pretty heavily down and getting counter jungles, but bottom lane goes a little aggressive.
Yep, Total going in. Ooh, Q miss from stun. Don't think it would have been a kill. Stixair returns fire, but an ultimately Alistar is a pretty good target. Total and stun with a decent trade.
Yeah, gonna chunk him out a little bit here. Meanwhile, Stixair got off a decent amount of damage with the Pogba afterwards on the retreat. A lot of vision though. Shrimp was able to lay down around this red buff quadrant of kind of like the game. You can see all the control wards in the bottom side of the map there, leading over to the dragon. So even though Shrimp, has been playing catch up with the camps, he's still within range of fighting capabilities, right? He's not getting blasted out of the game. You don't really get those ginormous leads that early simply from stealing camps. If Sejuani is able to get up to the level 6, in time for the fight anyway, then it's just fine for her anyway. Able to land the crowd control that you want from her if there is a scrimmage to break out.
FlyQuest now a little more threatening with everyone in the bot lane, almost everyone, sorry, hitting level 6. Stun should be there shortly. He does ding over. But again, just trying to get priority and get out of here.
And the control wards are being walked over. Not only this one in the Tribush that just got cleared out, but we saw it in the river. Rainover just cleared out the one in the Pixel Brush. Now he's moving in to get number 2. That was leading to the jungle entrance. And a lot of that vision that we talked about is being cleared out already. Now he's going for the super deep invade.
Yeah, looks like he might have the pressure here. Flame though, to Darshan. Doesn't land the ultimate though, so Darshan oranging early, making sure he doesn't get hit. Flame though, still building up a nice CS lead, so putting some cooldowns for harassment is fine.
This is definitely a dive here from CLG. This is a post-level 6 Alistar.
Kane's like, yep, I don't want anything to do with this. Hui though gonna try and force it. Turns away with the bomb, so instead turret damage will come.
Good communication from the bottom lane. They say, hey, Alistar is roaming. And that's how you save a life of your mid laner. Ooh, nice tag on the bomb there. Gonna be able to get the first explosion.
Finally finds one. As we have a pause. Well, see what's going on there in short notice. But certainly, nice little feint towards mid there. I like the setup from CLG. The attempt certainly made sense, but Kane pretty obviously aware of that based on his teammates' communication.
Yeah, they saw Rainover invading in the jungle, getting his deep vision down, and then the roam from Alistar there, Biofrost attempt. Not going to find anything. You will notice previously we had Biofrost change that ignite that we talked about into his teleport. So we're getting the teleports from bottom lane, and those crazy plays are going to be a possibility, not only from roaming from Biofrost, but now from the Summoner Teleport as well. Is going to reduce that all in there for lane though, because no more ignite.
So quick check in. Stunt is called for a pause. He apparently went back to base to refresh his wards and didn't get any. So just checking to make sure
stingy
that happened.
Little shopkeeper.
I know, he's not giving them away. They're free.
Not giving out the wards.
Well, we'll see exactly how that one happens. Kind of a interesting one. Haven't heard of it before, but again, just want to make sure that's checked. And we'll give you updates as soon as we know. Other than that, pretty slow start to this game. Impressed with Rainover's pathing. Kind of seems to be more back to form as far as finding good windows to invade and get a lead. Rainover is certainly the kind of player that would rather get control than necessarily get a kill, and just kind of grinds you out slowly rather than going all out aggressive. And
you'd say that. Having seen the beginning of the season, it has definitely been some over-aggressive moves that have got CLG into trouble. So it is kind of refreshing, to see this. And him kind of return to that form that you're used to seeing back from the successful days.
And it's kind of curious to think about Shrimp as a player. Again, he was for so long the Lee Sin guy, especially down in Challenger, now Academy. He was really known for just destroying people on his aggressive carry-style junglers. Obviously a player that has had quite a lot of LCS time. It's more than comfortable playing a meta tank like Sejuani, but certainly does feel like he's been kind of given the runaround here by Rainover in the early stages. Maybe missing some of that stage experience for a little while.
That's why
his ability somewhat.
It's always so fun to watch Rainover's early games since we're observers and we can see both sides and you kind of look at the mind games developing and his timing, returning to those paths and how he consistently gets those early game experience leads. But we have notified the pause, the players that they can talk now during the pause, because since they're investigating the bug, and it is going to be a little bit longer.
Quick correction as well, it was Shrimp that called, not Stunt, but same bug. So investigating that same issue. Once again, when we have updates, we'll let you know. Agreed on Rainover. There was something I was going to say. It always happens to me.
Does it have to do with coffee or Australia? I feel like
Not
that's 50% of your comment.
That's not inaccurate. You like both of those things quite a lot.
Same, honestly.
That's true. You have been to visit. Never with me, though. That's interesting. You went a long time ago. That's fine. I'm not going to hold it again.
It's too dangerous. I will need a bodyguard if we go back.
You might want to hire someone else that's not me. I'm going to be honest with you. Probably not the best bodyguard.
Can you take out the bugs?
Oh, of course.
Okay.
That's standard.
That's what I need. Honestly, though, this game does mean a lot for both these teams. As you were talking about, the standings, they're right next to each other. So not only are you going to give yourself the win, but the extra space in the teams that are right around you starts to become more important as we move on in the season.
Okay. Well, again, just kind of looking back, because we take a moment here, kind of moving through these compositions. I'm still very curious about how CLG are planning to kind of get things going. In general, whenever you make a new team, it's important to figure out ways to synergize and build experience. Obviously, that takes time, but some teams, I think, click a little bit earlier than others. I think CLG are a type of team that are looking for, have always had a unique identity and are kind of looking for a way to integrate their new players in. I mean, like I said, I wasn't kidding when I said Spellbook feels like the CLG room, because this is the kind of team that has always played well globally around the map using TPs, and now that 3 different people can have them, including your playmaking support.
The famous double teleports. On the
now it can be triple
board.
teleport, quadruple teleport.
They've always been looking for split pushing. When Aframu was on the team, trying to find ways to gain objective leads. Through sneaky play.
I don't want to say you have a hand in the LCS script, Kobe, but can you imagine, if Doublelift in Game 5 of playoffs on TL died to a triple teleport play from CLG? That would be some nonsense. There's a possibility.
What now? I was talking back
I was more just saying it'd be funny if Doublelift
going.
died to a triple teleport play, because that is now a thing.
Well,
same situation. Game 5, TL in playoff.
We've definitely seen quadra teleports up to the top side. Those are fun to watch. Top laners so much happy to finally get revenge.
The party is in my lane now. Wonderful. And just a quick note, looks like Shrimp did Q a little too speedily off the fountain. Those wards did not refill, but we are checking to see if they can play through it. Don't know if he can ever get wards again. I very much doubt it, but we'll see how that one goes. Like we said, thank you for your patience. We are going to be working through this one ASAP.
Rough life, man. He subs in. He's trying to help out the main team. Coming from Academy. He's trying to ward for the team, be a team player, and they won't even give him the wards. The whole game is against him.
It is. It really. I mean, and you know what? As far as experience goes around the jungle, that has actually been true. Obviously, Rainover has more of a hand in that and manipulating the game system.
As a jungler, not only do your teammates blame you all the time, but the shopkeeper won't even give you what's yours.
Well, you know what? He knows the right person to blame, so I think the shopkeep is doing a magnificent job. I really do. Well, Kobe, I'm going to settle in. What do you want to talk about today? Someone really wants you to.
I still wanted to talk about Australia, man. Come on.
All right, when was the last time you went to Australia, Kobe?
Never. I've never been.
What? I thought you'd been.
No, it was complete bluff.
It was a complete bluff. You had me fooled. All right, well, I feel betrayed. This portion of the conversation is absolutely over.
Is that trust broken? How do I earn that back?
Mildly. You go to Australia. It was a very simple thing.
Okay.
All right, well, we'll leave us alone for a little while longer. Send it over to the analyst desk as we wait for the polls to be resolved.
I love you too.
Whoa. We didn't say that.
Thank you very
Who
much,
does
Pastry.
Pastry love?
I
Yeah,
love you,
not us.
Pastry.
Yeah.
I love you so much. We got a little bit of a pause here. We are going to be chrono breaking, so we're just giving them a little bit of time to get that sorted out on stage so we can get back into game. But we will be chrono breaking essentially to a dead ball state, a point in the game where nothing super impactful is happening, and it is because of a ward refresh on a back. So nothing too major, just got to get it sorted. While that happens, we're 10 minutes into this game. What are our thoughts so far?
It's been a strange game. So Rainover, as we've seen him do on numerous occasions, is blue side jungling and frequently invading the red buff and enemy raptors. Like that's pretty much what's given CLG his advantage. That has been Rainover's #1 play for 3 years.
Right.
Like that's what he does.
To put a term to it, we call it cycling.
We call it cycling because he cycles that side of the jungle every time the raptors are up. He'll go through. The problem with that is you shouldn't be able to cycle when your top lane doesn't have priority. So we're really confused why Flame on Gnar isn't stopping that cycle.
Right.
Yeah, because there's some times where it's like, all right, it's just the Raptors, and it's really hard for Flame to get all the way down there. But then there was the red buff invade that came in, and it was like, could Gnar have not moved at all? Is there something more they could have done to defend the red buff at least so he hits level 6 and doesn't have to give that up?
Right.
It's a strange situation that's so effective and kind of hints to the mismatch in the jungle. Jet and I were talking about how these two players are like complete opposites in how they approach the game. You know, Rainover's efficiency, PvE, get all the like camps I can get and all that, and then Shrimp is like, I'll sit in the brush and level 2 gank you 3 minutes into the game.
Right. Yeah. He's happy to look for the kills in any way, shape, or form. Kind of to your point, Jad, around Flame and not coming down to help end the cycle. I think it's made even more peculiar by the fact that this is an established pattern for CLG, right? It's not like, oh, in this game they're needing to recognize, oh, this is something that's... No, it is literally a Rainover strategy, you know, in a sense. And so even more so, I feel like we can throw that kind of criticism towards him for not even, not expecting it.
Yeah.
And stopping it, preemptively stopping it.
And honestly, I think it does speak to a lack of synergy on the FlyQuest team. Flame and Onda were friends from the old Immortal squad. Onda was a backup for them.
And we know Flame talked about that being one of the players he was most excited about playing with on FlyQuest.
Right, and in the first 2 weeks, Onda was the starter. And this week, it's been Shrimp for both games. And that is a synergy that should work. Pushing top laner in this matchup should be Gnar, is Gnar. We've seen Hansard do the opposite to that matchup. But in this game, it's playing out the way we think it should, with about a 15 to 20 CS advantage for the Gnar. You have control of your own red buff. Like, you absolutely should, but Flame is ignoring the jungle, and Shrimp is not able to get his jungle back.
It's definitely a situation where you have to be intelligent about it because the GP will all kind of join in the fight that way, and maybe he'll collapse. But you should still be able to at least push the Jarvan out. If Anar runs up to him and starts auto-attacking him and slowing him with Qs, you'd think you would have to be a little nervous.
Right. That said, FlyQuest has by no means lost this game at 10 minutes because they didn't defend their Raptors a couple times. So I kind of now want to put context to the actual game state, maybe where we would expect both these teams to go in the next 5 to 10 minutes.
So it's an interesting game. I think in the next 5 to 10 minutes, it's hard to say because the map has mostly been left open, and it seems like it's unlikely that it's going to be FlyQuest getting up to the top side to snowball that Gnar advantage that they have. It doesn't feel like they have a great way to get up there as, for the most part, Keen's been on the back foot versus the Zillion. So I'm not exactly sure that would be the obvious place to go to, but it doesn't feel like they have a path to get up there.
Yeah, and I'd talk a little bit about the way that CLG needs to play, and I'm wondering if they're going to be able to do that because Rainover has been a good PvE jungler and a poor initiator. And we've seen one Huhi game on Zillion that wasn't so good. So he's put some more time into that pick since week 1, clearly. Watching the way the team fight should play out, it needs to be Rainover and Biofrost leading the charge on that initiation. They haven't been able to have those guys lead the charge on the initiation so far this year. Because of the cycling, because of the dissynergy in the top lane for FlyQuest, CLG does have that edge where they should be able to pull that trigger, but it's going to be a test of whether or not they can do it.
A lot of shoulds, a lot of shoulda, woulda, couldas in a lot of situations.
It's like talking about CLG, man.
Very hypothetical. It's also interesting into the FlyQuest team comp just because on paper, Kog'Maw GP outscales, but the front line is a little bit weaker. You also have a better supportive mid, I would argue, in Orianna because not only can she shield and speed up the Tristana when the resets start coming, but she can also set those resets up with a big shockwave combo, which works with Gnar. They have this crazy kind of wombo built into their team comp where if both teams are just kind of poking at each other, yeah, obviously give me CLG's comp. But if they flub the engage, it's a little nervous into FlyQuest comp.
I was about to say, I'll admit, gut feeling about these compositions, I'd prefer to be on FlyQuest's side of the equation only because I feel it is such a well-rounded composition.
And I would say the execution complexity of their composition is lower.
Yes.
Right? You have the Sejuani who just sets up for the Orianna ult, and the Braum is just a good defensive thing. Whereas CLG is like a lot of skill shots with GP and team fights, very unreliable, and Kog'Maw can get caught out at any moment, on top of the fact that Azilian is just an insanely high skill cap mid laner with the bomb micro, as well as speeding people up with refresh cooldowns, with Injure Ultimate. Like, there's a reason Jensen's been the only guy to really pull it out in North America.
Yeah.
It's a really hard pick to master.
Now, we've called out Darshan as being one of the better performing members on CLG, but we've also thrown criticism at Stixxay. Stixxay being on the Kog'Maw, the, you know, again, the champion that would be very easy to target in this composition. What is our feeling on what Stixxay would have to do to kind of prove to you that he's back in that conversation for, you know, one of the top ADCs in North America, the way he was around their MSI performances?
Avoid all of the shockwaves.
Yeah.
That's the challenge this game.
Is just positioning.
In terms of like who the onus is on to start these team fights off, it's obviously the Alistar and the J4.
So
and then
Kog'Maw doesn't flash in.
he just hits closest
Are you
target.
sure about that?
Pretty sure. I mean,
Okay, I just
maybe
wanted to
there's an orange
verify.
shockwave.
It's been
you
a long
flash
weekend,
over.
Mark.
See it
It's
if
been a
he
long
thinks.
weekend.
Yeah, it's game 10. Gotta remember to keep your mental focus here.
Game 10, day 4, as you know. No, but in all seriousness, yeah, I mean, you are looking for that Jarvan, that Alistar, you know, to pick the fights, start the fights and the targets, and that's where I want to now turn to Biofrost again. This is a guy who's criticized for communication, but praised for his mechanical prowess on TSM. CLG contests he's not nearly as deficient in his communication as people have said he is in the past. But here on a champion like Alistar, reminiscent to Aframu's performance from earlier today, we'd be looking for him to really make some plays happen, put a stamp on the LCS here.
Or Smoothie's performance.
Yeah,
the
that's
game
what I was
we
gonna-
just saw after they can control vision so well to be the initiator. It's a big moment.
All right, I'm going to cut you off, or you can end
Great.
for me. Yeah, perfect, because I'm hearing that we are about ready to hop back into the game. Chrono break has been accepted, so the game will be sent back to 10:18 when we come out of the pause. Gentlemen, take it away.
And we're back.
10-18, take me.
All right, take you back.
Take me back to a time when they had wards.
Hopefully they have wards. It'll be very awkward if they do not, but imagine they will, as we heard a lot of wonderful analysis. Thank you, gentlemen, at the desk for filling in there. I mean, again, 10 minutes through this game, not a whole lot else to go on. We're going back at 10:18 as we are jumping back in. And still a very close one. CLG built a lead, but no first blood. Turret's still up for grabs. There's a lot to really play for here, Kobe, as we get back into it.
Yeah, we just as a refresher, we had Biofrost. He was warding up into the jungle there of FlyQuest during the previous desynced recalls here. Stunt had just gone back to base there on Braum. So that's why we have the situation we currently do. Now, Huhi is roaming up to top side, and Zillion is going to try and zone off, it looks like Flame. He just jumped away. That's why he had no action up there.
Well, Shrimp gonna get this Scuttle Crab. Sun also roaming around as they're both looking to get the vision down. Shrimp taking away that plant. So again, lots of priority being placed on this right-hand side. Rainover back to the Raptors. He's going to get spotted out this time by Frost. The blast cone sends Stunt into the Drake pit.
I think they're both winners in that situation.
I think so too.
They both get to go back to the sides they intended, and FlyQuest gets to start up the Drake.
You know what? I like that Drake. I'm going to go ahead and start this. So Stunt, the Shrimp, and Wild Turtle.
3,000 health. They're on the way.
Alright, well, looks like Rainover's not in the area, so it's going to take maybe Biofrost Heroics or a Living Artillery to snipe it down. Sticks out!
Oh!
He got the Ocean Drake.
And Shrimp with a little bit early smite there on the Drake.
You got to test him. Test failed, unfortunately, there. Biofrost getting aggressed on. Ultimate already top, but the damage is actually coming out. Ignite burn for the stunt, though. Stixxay returns fire, and this Kog'Maw. Ocean Drake jump, doing a lot of damage.
Oh man, they just missed the landing there. Look at all the preparation they did for that Drake. 4 wards behind the Drake pit. All this vision now that Shrimp is going in, to try and contest the red. That was all in setup for the Drake. Now he can get vengeance though. Haha!
No one's got smite actually, so gonna have to use that permafrost, but Keen here to save him. Red buff goes over. Actually, maybe too far forward for Rainover. Don't want to get over aggressive.
Rainover's like, hey man, I didn't steal the Drake. Why are you coming in here again?
Go bot lane. Leave me
Go
alone.
bot lane.
Doesn't matter red buff. It's Keen. Commit the shockwave either for the kills. We'll just watch this steal again.
Yeah.
Dixie's like, no.
Yeah, Biofrost gets the ward in. Early smite there from Shrimp, as he said. And boom! Goes the Drake.
Straightforward stuff for CLG as they actually claim the first objective in this game, thanks to some nice timing by Stixxay. Darshan continuing to get bullied up here. 30 CS down, but with the Trinity Force will look to recoup that gold disadvantage ASAP.
Yeah, this is good play by Flame. He's been very offensive with his mini-Gnar use, constantly trying to push Darshan off the minion wave, pressure him for CS, and create the extra advantage. Shrimp, though, gets comboed.
Yeah, Rainer actually looking to get this one going. Darshan follows up. Ooh, Cataclysm. Double bombs? No, it can't land. Shrimp forced to flash. Keen now with a shockwave. Maybe can go stun. Also came up. Here goes Bifrost with the TP. Shrimp down. First blood over to the Zillion. Huhi able to grab it. The shockwave finds a couple, but stun is so low. The red buff not enough to get him. There was the wall out from Flame. Doesn't lock down the stasis. Huhi. Resurrection though here. Good ult there onto the Jarvan by the Zillion. Trying to protect Rainover. Bomb's still there, but Flame, he wants it. He grabs the stun from the concussive blows by Brawl, but he can't finish the kill. Now Bifrost looking for a double. And the pull. Oh, there it is for the alley-oop and the heal there. Bird to keep them alive for a little while longer. It's now Darshan looking to go down. Sniped by Flames. Boomerang Bifrost. Now he's the one in trouble as he saunters back towards the turret. A Q miss from stun, and that's going to call it off.
So that was a 9-man brawl on the top side, which leaves Stixxay all by himself to take first turret. So even though that was a 1-for-1 trade on the top side, CLG get an entire turret out of that. Let's take a look at how this all started. Shrimp invading on the Gromp. He does smite for the extra level that he gets, plus the extra healing, but Rainover is on the chase, and even though he comes out of the Zonias, had some extra damage on him. Now it gets turned around a little bit, but this is why Zillion is so good in early skirmishes. Even though there's a good shockwave here and they collapse onto Rainover with the stun, he's about to go down. There's the resurrection from Huhi. Zillion gets the ultimate off, and that buys so much extra time. And from this point on, it's just about time, because you can see on the mini-map, the Kog'Maw is now auto-attacking the turret, and Stixxay is going to be able to get that entire objective during this chase. Stopwatch there for Darshan. Again, delaying. Biofrost went in with the Alistar, delaying more, keeping those members deep in their jungle, popping his ultimate, and trying to stall for themselves. So even though it was very chaotic up there, CLG very happy with how that sort of pick happened, where they caught Shrimp in the jungle and were able to gain a little bit more momentum from it.
Actually more than 2,000 gold ahead just off of that first turret gold and trading those kills. Good win there from CLG. Fly invest a lot, summoner-wise, to try and get something started. And actually a TP to the top side from Darshan for the turret kill, playing very aggressive with the teleport.
Yeah, CLG taking that tempo lead and just running with it here. They had GP bottom, he was clearing the waves, immediately teleported up the top side. Now they're just rushing through the turrets. He has the added advantage of being able to wave clear cross map. So intelligent use here from CLG to really try and pressure off of that kind of small event.
Yep, going again, continuing the siege here. It's 4v3 right now. In fact, they go for the dive. Bifrost, that's it off stun. He's going to go down to Darshan. Great aggressive play there from the Alistar. Gonna get stunned on the other side. Flame gonna try and get the kill. Looks to get the counter. Kill Stixxay with a heal. Sniped by the ulti there from Shrimp. They're trying to block as best they can. Flame, he wants it with the wall. Is he gonna go? Finally gets it to Shrimp. But now the dunk comes back in from Rainover. Zillion up here with the resurrection. Gets the kill onto Sejuani as Darshan passed back to life. But Darshan does get Flame, and the stun lands on the other side. Keen forced to pop the other. Bomb lands in, but the living artillery is gonna seal it. CLG, 3 for 1.
That was sick right there. He roped up on Zillion to flash in for the resurrection with the Zillion ult. Then when they had the shockwave, Stixxay actually flashes forward on Kog'Maw, past the shockwave, in towards the turret to be able to finish off these extra kills. So another scramble going in favor of CLG, and they claim another turret. They are absolutely destroying these objectives in the game. They stole the first Drake, but then they manufactured this line of turret destruction. Let's take a look at the dive. Biofrost instantly goes in. This is level 1 Alistar ultimate though, so the damage reduction not quite there, and Fly and Shrimp are able to whittle him down anyways. They go for the ultimate to try and snipe him. Then Darshan is going to take the rock from Flame to buy a little bit more time, but Shrimp eventually finishes off anyways. There's who he's flashed in to get the resurrection, but Keen also is trailing here on the Orianna, and he's going to get a big shockwave here. Boom! Stixxay flashes forward towards the turret, allowing him not only to dodge the damage, but also finish off the kills.
Very stylish there from CLG, but also very successful all of a sudden. Almost 5,000 gold ahead with an Infernal Drake ready as they look to take their second Dragon objective. Decent warding here as they keep Fly out, and this should be Infernal over to them.
Yeah, this game just snowballed so heavily. Now this is a 2-item double buff Kog'Maw very early on, and they've just secured an Infernal Drake on top of their giant tower lead that they have.
Darshan even getting a bit more aggressive with his build. Youmu's actually is the second item after Trinity Force, so might be looking for that lethality. Again, CLG I think him closing this game a little more quickly will help, at least in the earlier stages. Rift Herald also up for grabs, but not for too much longer. See if Team 2 and look for that, or if CLG is happy to keep up that turret pressure. Kane takes a big chunk of damage from that bomb. We now able to pretty easily clear these waves. It looks like he'll go back as well. Leandru's probably done from the recoil timing, and it is. So from nothing to a lot, actually. Pretty much 2 items done for every carry on the CLG side.
And they have synergy as well. You can see that all of the CLG carries are going for flat penetration. So that Leandru just talked about, Zilean, he has very good base damages with the bomb. You know, doesn't scale super great for late game with AP stacking, but early on, especially with flat penetration from his Leandries, as well as the flat shred from Kog'Maw rushing that with 10 seconds, there are not magic resist items on the table here for FlyQuest at all. So those two are going to do a lot of damage, seeing as how Kog'Maw gets a bunch of magic damage in his profile as well. And then that in combination with a Gangplank, Darshan over there with his Trinity Force plus Ghostblade, CLG have so much burst damage that they are well positioned to continue this snowball and continue to press the pace of the game. They have an Alistar ultimate with huge damage reduction, plus a Zilean ultimate for the huge power of mid-game revives.
Well, let's see how this pressure around the mid turret goes, because that's kind of the last obvious objective for CLG to want to knock down. FlyQuest also trailing in turrets. We'll see if they can counterattack, but right now Turtle busy with the long lane top, and also Wave moving towards them. Bifrost has found Turtle. He's going to go for the combo follow up there from Rainover. We're going to try and dunk him down. The stun is good, and oh no, Turtle is going to get away. Had the stopwatch, burns it.
Yeah, good use of a stopwatch there. We've seen a lot of people using stopwatch in situations where there is no out, there's no help coming. But in this situation, you know, he's got stun coming, he has the support coming, so he doesn't waste any of the other abilities, and he is able to save his life here. So maybe they could try and fight CLG out of their own jungle.
Out of turret, though, goes over as the dunk lands in. Pulverize out for the double cataclysm as everybody flashes out, but CLG will follow. Bifrost got aggressive.
Yeah, good interrupt there from Stunt using his ultimate, but that did leave mid lane a little bit open, starting to chip away at this turret. CLG then refocusing back to the secondary one and try and continue the siege. Again, they have all the controls here to push the pace of this game. Even though you look at the combo, you're like, oh, you know, they have GP on their side. He's already got his Stream Force, he's already got some flat penetration, and they have so many other tools that are fully operational. They can really close out FlyQuest right now. You can see FlyQuest trying hard to fight their way back into the map. They're moving in the 4-1. Flame's gone down to the bottom side, and the rest of them are already worried about Baron vision.
Yeah, and again, just to kind of represent this total gold lead from CLG, Flame has done a very good job keeping Darshan down, drawing a pretty massive CS lead in that lane. But Darshan's 2,000 gold ahead of him, like just based on
that's
all the
Gangplank.
Exactly.
He got early access to cryptocurrency. He invested.
And turrets.
And now he's rich, even though he has not CS.
Ah. Well, good investment there from Darshan. Turret's going to fall, so Fly finally going to cut that turret lead in half for CLG. Only 4-2 up now. Gold is nice, but CLG still with so much pressure, particularly with the outer ring fell. The Stixxay with the QSS can play with even more aggression in these team fights.
That's what we are definitely looking for with this combo. Bifrost on Alistar has done a good job of initiating, no hesitation there, and they definitely have, the tanks to follow up here. Rainover full tank, rushing a bunch of health, good against all sort of offenses. So let's see if they can actually set this up. Because you would think that the next option would be to move over to the Baron, but FlyQuest did a good job of already setting up their defenses there. So Maybe CLG continue with the siege that we just saw. You know, there's only 1 minute and 20 seconds left on this dragon, and they could go that route instead.
Darshan also getting things started in the split push. There's a Phantom Dancer now finished. Flame does have 2 good items for the side lane as well, with the Frozen Mallet and the Black Cleaver, but CLG still in the offensive. Decent going for gold. Firefrost tries to get in with the Mobies. Zillion unfortunately not there for the super speed up. And Darshan also getting pincered, but he'll run back towards his teammates.
Yeah, you can tell they are willing to throw pretty much everything right now.
Oh, Greedy Cow. Rainover starting with a dunk. Firefrost lining it up. The shockwave doesn't quite hit enough, and Stunk's gonna get knocked around. Firefrost there finds the Polby trying to zone out the carries, but he's taking a little too much damage. 6-8, another great flash forward, finds the kill on the stun, looks for the shrimp kill, and the flag grabs it for Rainover.
He's deep though.
A little too deep. Yep, way too deep. Keen able to get that kill as Turtle takes away the blast cone option. Turtle now laying into Darshan. 2-item Triss, not bad at all.
Definitely getting scrappy here. As CLG, really, you could tell they wanted to throw everything that they had to force fights now because of the factors that we were talking about. But right there, FlyQuest did a decent scramble in order to get the single kill for themselves. You can tell the pressure of the game, though, and the way that this one is trending. Now we're only 10 seconds from the Drake, and they can get right back out to the objective. Here we go, though, into the control ward brush. Rainover starts it off. The only problem here for CLG is that their 2 carries walk up, so it's a very good eye for Keen there. He lands the double shockwave onto the back line, which delays a lot of it, and allows Wild Turtle here to get a lot of counter damage onto the CLG lineup. That's why you see CLG play very hesitantly with their backline there, and Rainover was left by himself, allowing Wild Turtle to cut it back off and secure that one. There goes the Drake for CLG, though.
Yeah, effective solo there for Darshan. 6 they came for a little bit of damage at the end, but Drake number 3 moving now to Counter Logic Gaming. Darshan continues to accrue his gold. CLG push themselves further and further ahead. Gold leaders stayed flat-ish, still 6,000 gold ahead for CLG, but Fly not losing too much more, especially as far as territory goes, but Baron can be the next big objective to look for.
Yeah, and FlyQuest, at least Turtle feeling a lot better now. He's got his Infinity Edge, Static Shiv, and extra Zeal. So the Tristana definitely is threatening, and as we've seen, you know, Keen can get some good shockwaves. So FlyQuest are definitely not out of this. While CLG do want to push the pace, they have to be a little bit careful there, and FlyQuest are definitely looking for that big counter. As you said, there are a lot of things you have to keep your eye on when this team is concerned. You know, Stunt with the Braum, a well-timed Unbreakable can definitely give FlyQuest the opening to get right back in this.
Well, Hoodie finishes Void stuff, so CLG staying an item or a half item ahead of their counterparts for the most part, with the exception of Darshan, who's cheating. And like you said, bought into the crypto.
Yeah. Also, the extra turrets you're talking about killed so early on and really inflate the global team gold bank.
Rainover just doing his thing. Got that sweeper, clearing out vision. Looks like CLG are lining up for this Baron. No Drake for a few minutes. Darshan just took the last one. And it is a mountain. This will be okay. Try and close out this game, but CLG know where the big prize is, and we'll see what they can get lined up as Darshan goes back to the bot lane to start that pushing.
I think after that last little skirmish in mid lane, CLG are pushing a dive out of there.
Firefrost, ooh, doesn't quite get it. Stun actually with a good hop away. Tag, no ult there from Braum. Grabs a knockup. Plays just a little short.
One cooldown kind of baited there, so CLG should feel a bit more comfortable in doing the Baron bait. You have a Gangplank to split push, Darshan off on the side, and then they can retreat to the control wards around the Baron. But FlyQuest are very well aware of this, and Shrimp right now doing his best to fight that vision war. They can secure this Scuttle Crab, which would remove a lot of those options.
These sticks, they're also willing to get aggressive. 3 items done with a QSS for safety. Had a great QSS in the last fight off the Sedge ult, so with Huhi able to speed him up, everyone remembers Juggermore, very similar. You don't get the same protection, but you certainly get comparable, if not better, speeds. Huhi is one of America's most trusted networks. There's Stun, nope, maybe caught the other side. Bifrost starting it off. We're gonna try and stun Wild Turtle, but the GP ult doesn't quite catch the rest of FlyQuest. Keen gets double bombed by Huhi, but he'll be alright.
Yeah, good kiting there from FlyQuest. They're able to get out of the duration of an Alistar ultimate and a Gangplank ultimate used. That being said, CLG still with the big advantage, and they're trying to push ahead.
CLG looking for a seed again. Stixade is playing up, even hits the turret with all the champions out of range. Firefrost also lining up a big old play. Has his flash ready.
Look at all the zoning here. Bombs to secure this tower. CLG push up and start to melt it.
Barrels there as well. Bombs back down. Shrimp just skirts the edge of them, and a good barrel chain finds stunt for some folks. Stixxay taking more turret shots.
It's really rough for FlyQuest. The floor is full of explodable bombs from CLG. They have to worry about barrel chains. They have to worry about double bombs. And all the while, Kog'Maw has this huge area of threat when the Bioarcane barrage is available. So they activate W, they just bully their way in to the turret and are able to take quite a lot.
Well, Fly at least will get some time here. Ooh, auto attack follows Biofrost to base. Catch that one. Tasty.
Ooh, a crit too.
It's the power of the rapid fire cannon. Hits a very long distance when you charge it up. But again, FlyQuest at least going to get some vision back around the Baron. Not too much they can put down, and Reynova's already back on duty clearing that out. FlyQuest, I think, mostly irritated by this mid-outer turret that's still standing. It's constricting a lot of their movement throughout the middle of the map, giving CLG all this space to play with.
Yeah, I think CLG should go with a similar game plan. Group right back up, or at least 4-man group right back up. And they can have Darshan prep the side wave. He can come over again for the barrel chains once they have the side wave in place, but you want to get mid and the side going, and then try and make use again with all that zone control.
Derek stun for Darshan, 4 items as he just continues to buy up. Fly again, looking around, trying to get some vision back, hoping a straggler gets picked up.
Yeah, it looks like Biofrost is going to get the flank off. Biofrost already behind the Raptor pit.
Stixxay already starting it off, unleashing, but Biofrost very patient. He wants to carry. They've got flashes up.
Oh, this is a very good spot for Bio.
Here he comes. Biofrost looks for Keen. Headbutts him back. No, not quite towards the team. Gets the stun down, but the damage might be enough. And Shockwave is nice, but still damage getting dealt. Flame off on the flank, doesn't get it. Stixxay, the killing spree flashes again. Looks for stun, doesn't get it. Almost grabs Turtle though. Still going for it, but gets resurrected by the Zillion. Can just afford to play so damn aggressive.
Yep, and now they can retreat back to the Baron. They took out Keen. They forced Turtle back to the base, and it looks like, oh, maybe they Baron bait here with the control wards.
Darshan going to keep him out of the pit. They got the DPS. They're just going to try and take the Baron down. Darshan and who he's zoning away. Raynova tanky enough as Darshan almost soloing out the jungler. Might just go in for the kill. Although Stunt's going to stop that. Turtle also low. Does not want to face Chekapale.
Yeah, and they speed him right back out because they don't want that fight actually to take place. They finish the Baron here. CLG are going to be able to take it.
And Baron goes over. CLG a very well played position to pick up that Baron. Oh my goodness, Darshan. Comboing off minion waves as FlyQuest will take the consolation objective. It will be a Mountain Drake, but this was such a well thought out initiation by CLG.
They had been doing so much work clearing out the vision, and then FlyQuest lost track of Biofrost. Comes in, Righteous Glory, flashes, able to get the Q, then headbutt Keen back in despite Orianna having her flash. And then it's just CLG diving in onto Keen, and there was a little bit of hope there for FlyQuest because they were almost doubled up. Turtle, though, not able to get a super lucky line of crits or anything. And CLG did have the resurrection from Zillion. Chrono Shift goes down onto Stixxay, so they're able to secure it.
Today I learnt you cannot be displaced during Juggernaut.
Yep.
I did not know. Raynova just jumping in there. CLG pile in for a few kills. You can see just how much confidence Stixxay has in this kind of team comp. Sicilian pick working out a lot better this time. CLG still sieging up the turrets. Darshan is just collecting bank with every minion wave that approaches him. And Flame, he's going to try and take down these Baron up minions, but it's a tough task.
Definitely true, because the Baron buff here really accelerating the split from CLG.
Oh, Darshan gets slowed. Oh no, here's Wild Turtle again. Darshan going to try, going for Prime. No, doesn't get it. Turtle almost dies, but able to get out of the way. Not enough crits for Darshan.
That's a huge breath of fresh air for FlyQuest. They take down the very fed Gangplank as you're going over, even without the successful early game. Definitely had a lot of power, but Turtle gets in there, has a red buff on Tristana, so they're just barely able to come out with that kill and buy themselves some time. That's some much needed respite here for FlyQuest to try and stabilize.
Certainly is. Only one turret they're taking for CLG so far. It was the mid-tier 2. So a lot of time bought there as Darshan's still 20 seconds away and protecting their bottom tier 2 as a result. CLG would like to get inhibitor turrets if they can, but Looks like it'll be no dice with maybe 1 or 2 pushes left as Baron buff is approaching a minute mark left. Huhi though gets his blue buff. Level 18 already. That's one of Zillion's benefits. Zooming around. Getting stronger and stronger. And you can see again, every revive on Stixxay is going to be full health pretty much every time, given how much AP he has on Zillion. And Darshan even aggressively TPing back down the bottom lane. He does not want to let this Baron pressure go, even though he doesn't have Baron anymore.
Yep, rest of the team, though, they still want to push the pace. And CLG right back out to the... Oh, same plan for FlyQuest.
Darshan maybe a little too keen to get the push going back. Oh my god, Turtle! Does push him away, but Darshan hungry for a parlay. Not going to grab it. Stun there for the save. And Flame takes him down. Here comes Rainover trying to finish off the carry, but not so lucky. Stoneplate pop there for the Jarvan's bio. Back in now, Stixxay here for the DPS, and goodbye stunt. Stixxay on a rampage takes down the Braum.
Darshan was angry about that one. He wanted Turtle, but Turtle able to survive. In the end, CLG collapsed. They get another one. It is a trade. Even though it's support for a top laner, the Baron buff allows them to continue to push. Kog'Maw's level 16 here with the support of Zillion.
Yeah, Darshan's directly to the Baron. Oh my god, the Diamond King. Goodbye, Huhi. Able to slay that one as the tower now exposed. The Stixxay running in onto Flame. Shrimp lowers Turtle. Tries to get some shots around the other side. Huhi does burn the ultimate there to save himself and Turtle. He wants to hunt for a kill. Finds a controller. Turret's going to go down. 40 seconds till Keen is back. Stunt in 5. Inhibitor will likely fall here in bot lane.
Turtle's trying to be the gatekeeper here and keep them inside.
Playing with a lot of fire, but that inhibitor is going to stay up for now. I'm actually going to keep chasing. Stixxay tag. QSS is off, very speedy with the Zillion speed up. Huhi though, better play coverage. Good ult from Darshan. Slows the rest of them down, but Stixxay still getting chased. Ult back up there for Zillion. He's going to get resurrected, but what teammates are here to save him? The answer is no one, as Stixxay going to get chained. Stun for days. Turtle grabs the shutdown.
Turtle is just fighting his heart out here, trying to keep FlyQuest in it. And again, they buy themselves a little bit of time with that kill, but you can tell CLG being relentless here with the push. All right, it was same game plan. FlyQuest knew they don't have a lot of options. They don't have time either, so they go for the kill onto Darshan. Turtle saves his flash, uses it at the last second, baited Darshan in there. Darshan saw that counter kill in his eyes, and he was looking for the revenge, but wasn't going to be there. Even so, CLG still have Stixxay, this fed Kog'Maw, sped up by Zillion, and they're able to counter.
Well, nice job there from CLG, but FlyQuest defend their bottom inhibitor, keeping themselves afloat in this game. Turtle, also you mentioned, certainly has been building up strength. 4 items now done. This is the kind of player that certainly plays to the end. Could potentially pull FlyQuest back over the line after they've been 10,000 gold down. Game's getting long here, and with that pause, players going to start to feel a bit of mental drain as well, but have to focus on the big objective. Elder Dragon up minute 5, Baron about minute 40 after that. CLG though, interested in Baron for now. Elder Dragon not hugely beneficial to either team. Fly only with 1, CLG with 3, but only 1 Infernal. But if it's up, you might as well take it.
Yeah, the biggest thing here is that Infernal or Elder Dragon coming up early means that CLG could use that to try and draw FlyQuest into them. They do operate very well if they're able to get FlyQuest to move up and try and check these big objectives. So that's going to be the area they transition to. 33 seconds left.
And it looks like they decide they do want the objective, as you mentioned, and also help them take the Baron. So should have plenty of time and certainly plenty of damage to get this all taken. Bifrost with a few wards down. Rainover trying to get vision, but counted away as FlyQuest sweep through that choke towards the river entrance. Stixxay, the huge threat whenever the cooldowns are available. He's only getting stronger as well. Has a Blade of the Ruin King to finish. And then we'll see if he wants to swap things out, if the game even goes that long. Stixxay, though, is hitting air, whoever he can find. Even the Braum with the Unbreakable Love, even Flame, the tanky Noah. Although he's not that tanky, actually. I take it all back. Rainover caught, he's out. Black and Drax to safety. CLG going to play this slow.
And you can see the ebb and flow of the team fights revolve around the W cooldown for Kog'Maw. Bile Arcane Barrage is up, he goes offensive.
Good stun there. Not a stun. Bomb damage is decent, but Braum's pretty tanky, especially with the door up.
Bile Arcane Barrage is down, then FlyQuest go offensive, and they chase him off. So they're just kind of rotating here and trying to switch it off.
Ooh, that's a good choke for the shotgun, but again, Bifrost looking for Turtle. Finds a 3-man pulverized bomb. don't quite connect after it, and it's a bit of a chaos here in the rest of it. Stixay still hitting away as Darshan trying to keep Flame and Shrimp out of there. Dunk there from Rainover, finds it, could try and seal it, but Turtle, he's able to hop out of the way. Huhi zones him off with the bombs, and Stixay gets another kill. Shrimp able to fall down there. Turtle still fighting his heart up on Flame. He's trapped between the rest of CLG. The GA will resurrect him, but it's already 2 dead on the side of FlyQuest. CLG, all members up as Stixay gets another kill. Now Turtle wants to try and just do something and get a few kills, but no luck, and ultimate almost back resilience. Stixay lived again.
Another big flank from Biofrost to start it off, and another teamfight victory for Counterlogic Gaming. They are going to stick around, take the Baron right here while their double solo laners defend Elder Dragon, just in case there was a chance that FlyQuest were going to try and sneak it while CLG were taking the purple buff.
Well, Turtle at least going to defend his inhibitor, but he's not going to get the Baron here. That will go to CLG. Shrimp's there for 5 more seconds, no chance for contest, and CLG have to be thinking exposed inhibitor in the bot side. Still some turrets to attack in mid and top. Perhaps one more push to win the game as we watch this again.
Again, this is kind of the ebb and flow of the W cooldown is up, they speed up Stixay, he goes offensive, gets a trade, then it's down, so FlyQuest move back up, they try and catch someone, but CLG back off, and then Biofrost. He goes around a control ward, comes behind FlyQuest, and he's able to target Turtle, hits him into the Gangplank ultimate, then flashes for the AoE to try and set up a big stun there from Huhi. The bombs do not connect though, and FlyQuest scramble. Now FlyQuest are trying to protect Keen, but Rainover gets in there with the Cataclysm. In that case, it's all retreat here for FlyQuest, and they're just trying to get anyone out alive. Unfortunately for them, Flame does go down, also losing the GA cooldown.
Yep, that's become now done for Flame, but I don't think he had it before. And now Stixay continuing to just carry through this game. 6-1 and 6, going to take down the Elder Rain over here to secure with the Smite. And Baron buff still done for 2 minutes and 20 seconds. CLG going to have a very powerful push. See if they stay out on the map, and looks like they will. They're going to try and use maximum buff time here.
I would too. Yeah, the powers of Elder Dragon and Baron buff combined. Counterlogic Gaming gonna try and use them to crack one of these inhibitor turrets. They might just run right past it though, if you know, Stixay and Huhi have been any indication.
Well, this one should go down. I don't think Fly have any business trying to defend this.
Walk by
Stixay
that
just
one.
plays up, and they're like, yep, all right, we agree. Just gonna let things chill out for a little while longer. Top wave not there for them, but building up slowly. See if CLG go mid. Yes, they will. And this is where the tricky part comes for FlyQuest.
All right. A little bit of side work here done again from Biofrost. He's trying to clear out some of the wards, open up any sort of extra routes they could possibly take. But honestly, CLG can go right up the middle. They've got so much power right now. They can even go for a dive with Stixay at the front.
Stixay's just, yep, gonna hit the turret, free hit it, pretty easy. Fly not going in just yet. It's too hard to get through his Zillion-empowered Cogmore. Inhibitor still standing in mid though.
Waiting on that cooldown. Stixay is back up. There's the speed on him. FlyQuest, very few options to try and fight their way out of this one.
Yep.
Inhibitor goes down.
Stixay in mini range. Gonna take down that. No threat there from Fly. And a big wave, like I said, building from about 30-40 seconds ago. Biofrost's gonna go back, maybe recharge them wards. And CLG are gonna continue their attack. Why not at this stage? Oh, never mind. Everyone's gone back. I'm a liar. CLG just gonna decide, you know what, 2 inhibs is enough. You know what, Darshan? I'm gonna need you to stop doing this. The TP's back to the mini wave. He's gonna get this going. Never mind, CLG gonna try and close the trap here and seal this game.
You can see the super minions out on the map now, trying to pile into the FlyQuest space. FlyQuest basically have 1 30-second window there for their fodder minions basically to hold before they are going to be pressured not only on top side by CLG, but also on their Nexus.
Look at this wave. 3 cannons empowered by the Baron. Only 10 seconds left, but this tower's getting shredded. Stixay onto stun in the front side. And CLG just going to crack this one down. FlyQuest need to pull the trigger very soon, or the game's just going to get run over by super minions.
Yep, super minions are now inside, so are CLG.
Stixay's like, yep, come for me. Zillion's ready to protect me. I've got my QSS up. I mean, it's not a good situation for FlyQuest, so we have to try something.
All right, Biofrost again. He's looking for a better option than the Sejuani or Braum to go on. He does have Flash, and he switched over to Ghost.
Dodging all of these. Again, peppering stun. Last inhib's gonna fall Keen for leashes, so we can't even threaten for a shockwave, and CLG just might stick around to cart these super minions in towards the Nexus.
Yeah, there's not been an opening yet for FlyQuest, and it's not going to get any better.
Running out of chances though. Stixay onto this next Nexus turret. Taking turret shots, but doesn't seem to matter too much. Stun, again taking damage as Stixay's just too fast, shredding the front line of FlyQuest. Patience here from CLG, no need to rush this one. Flame doesn't even have enough rage built up to transform in quite a while. So Stixay again stepping forward. Looks dangerously close. Again, QSS stop on the Zillion. He does get trapped in it, but he's going to get resurrected. Back to full health. In the meantime, Bifrost and Rainover try and tie up the front line as Flame about to transform. A stun lands in onto Bifrost. He's trying to get away. Turtle with a lot of damage. Needs a one more shot. Turtle gonna go in for it, but the locket may have baited him. No, he gets the kill. Flame though low. Stixay, he's gonna get caught up on the front side of it, but the damage I think is too much. Shut down onto Turtle as he went too far.
Flame also going to go right back down after the GA comes up again, and counter Logic Gaming are alone inside the base.
Yeah.
Keen forced into the fountain.
Rainover keeps him up. Stixay forces them back to the respawn platform. Immune again by Zillion. Don't step into the fountain laser, but straight for the Nexus as CLG will tie with TSM as they look to fight them next week. Steam's picking up for this team, Kobe. The faith is restoring slowly but surely.
Counter Logic Gaming on the warpath. Stixay starts the game out by stealing that Ocean Drake with an ultimate charge from Kog'Maw. But really the big game turner was that play around topside. 9 members were there. It was a 1-for-1 trade, so that wasn't the focus. Stixay was down bottom. They got the first turret, bonus gold, and from that little domino going down, CLG flipped the switch. They then got top turret, they hard push, they used GP, wave clear, and they turned 1 turret into a 3-turret advantage for themselves.
I think the bot lane from CLG showing up pretty big here in this game. Stixay looking great with all that support on the Krog'Maw. Chronomore looking really nice for CLG.
Yeah, he had Nunu yesterday with the Blood Boil on him, looking good with Callista. Then today, the Zillion backing him up, resurrections, extra speed on the Kog'Maw. And it seems like they have found something to build around here with the team. So definitely a successful week for them.
And then for Bifrost, was known for playmaking champions when he was on TSM, known for his Rakan last year in Summer Finals. Alistar's pretty similar.
Got to keep
that
track
looked a lot
of them
better.
too. Biofrost did a good job. He was getting creative.
Bioflanks.
Yeah, the bioflanks there with the control wards made it difficult for FlyQuest to keep track of where he was. And he kept on, going back around through the jungle and finding a very good initiation.
And we talk about styles for CLG. What are they good at? Getting vision, setting up the map. We know what are their bot lane good at? Carrying in the late game if you're Stixay, and making plays if you're Bifrost. And it finally kind of came together. All that control they built up, all the map advantage, they actually converted into objective wins and even tower dives to try and push that game forward.
Felt like they were just like a teenager early on in the season. They just wanted to fight everybody, and they were tower diving early on, throwing away leads. Now they've matured a little bit, and they're...
Well, only 3 weeks in, we'll see how much more maturity they can get. Let's send it down to Olive Oil, though, and CLG's living artillery in the bot lane.
Olive oil. That's a new one.
Thanks, Pasta Time. I am here with Stixay. Congratulations on your win. You got a noisy fan out there. But you went from last weekend, you said that you were having issues finding confidence on stage, to stealing, Dragon. You played amazing. So how did you regain that confidence?
I think a lot of it just comes from my teammates are really just empowering me the whole time. And they always tell me, they believe in me. They know I can do it. So that just helps a lot.
Now this weekend with the 2-0, it looks like CLG now has a better grasp on these games. Are we getting closer to seeing CLG at its best?
Yeah, we're getting a lot closer. And I mean, as you can see, as the weeks are going on, every team is getting cleaner and cleaner. And obviously we're going to do the same. So.
Now, this split, you lost Afromu as your support, and a lot of people saw the relationship between you guys as like mentor and student. Do you feel like you have to prove that you can win these games on your own without him?
I mean, in a way, yeah. And that's why, it sucked the first few weeks. I was like, damn, I'm looking a bit lost first 2 weeks without Afro. But I think I'm able to do a lot of it on my own now, and it just took some getting used to.
How's your synergy and pairing with Biofrost?
I love Biofrost. He's such a great guy, and he's really easy to get along with. We just gelled like straight from the get-go, so it's really easy.
What about him helped you guys gel together, like you said?
I think me and him are very similar people. We do a lot of like team activity kind of things, and me and him are always grouped in the same kind of like person. People, I think we're called the analysts, and everyone knows us as like the more quiet, reserved people on the team. And me and him just have a lot of similarities, so it's just really easy. So.
Well, you have the CLG TSM game next week. Big rivalry. How are you going to prepare for that game? And is your bot lane duo Biofrost excited for that matchup?
I would hope so. I know he always wants to, prove that TSM made a mistake by replacing him. But, just going to prepare same as any other game. So.
Well, Stixxay, thank you so much for this interview. Congratulations again on your win. And to wrap up the day, let's hear it from the State Farm Analyst Desk.
I love it. The screams from the audience as Stixxay and the rest of CLG pick up their victory. This time running back the Zilean pick in the mid lane behind the Stixxay Kog'Maw. This time to some success, moving to 3-3.
Never thought they could do it.
Never
Super surprised.
I mean, he did play Zilean a little bit in the past. It's not super surprising. They had a really good early game. There's that pause that maybe people don't remember it as well. There was some crazy top lane fight that went on forever with only a 1-for-1 as a result. And off the back of that, they got a big lead. They start split pushing down all these turrets. And the game kind of exploded and then slowed back down again.
Yeah, it was quite a messy game, if we're being completely honest, with a lot of chaos going everywhere. And that's now been 2 of CLG's 3 wins have been pretty messy. And then even the Echo Fox game. But at the end of the day, they can look back, see that they're 3-3, see that they pulled the win on the Zilean, and at least have somewhere to move towards growth. Because what we talked about a lot during the pause was whether or not they'd be able to initiate with Biofrost and with Rainover. And I say they actually could.
Yeah, Biofrost in particular, huge game out of him. Just a ton of amazing flanks in those mid-game, mid-lane team fights where he kept wrapping around the sides and getting behind the enemy team. So that was a really impressive performance on Alistar.
Want to call up one fight in particular, this one around 16 minutes into the game. CLG, 4-for-1 off of it.
And like we said, kicked off by Biofrost. They're starting this dive off, and this was the play that really put the game in CLG's hands. The fact that they were already on the inner turret, like you said, pretty early in the game, pre-20 minutes, is impressive. And it was just after FlyQuest messed up that skirmish on the top side. They were chasing CLG around the map as they had better rotations. And then this fight is just really well played, in particular by Stixxay flashing forward through the Orianna ult to get back onto Flame. And then the double bomb onto Keen. Huhi in particular had a good game. Feels like he was a little understated because he did keep key members alive at the right times. He had pressure in the early game to allow Rainover to counter jungle as much as he did, and just landing some key stuns on top of all that.
I mean, that said, it's a pretty gold graph in the sense that it continues to move up and to the right. So even though it may have elongated and slowed down in terms of pacing, at least the gold values were still mounting in favor of CLG, and eventually the win comes through for them. Moving to 3-3, and as you mentioned, Jat, still not the prettiest of wins. It seems like that's where we go from here. Stixxay even calling out that, of course, the first couple weeks without Afromu, there may have been some moments where they felt lost and didn't have that voice of reason or the dominating vocals. But those issues are being worked on.
Yeah, and you could see that they were definitely over-aggressive in the first few weeks, and they were a lot more calculated. Still, you'd like them to kind of get to that C9 level of coordination that we've seen, or the Team Liquid level of crispness. You need to be able to have one of those two things if you're going to play like that.
Right.
But play around Rainover strengths. Let him cycle someone in the early game, play your lanes even, and then when you get to the team fight phase, just kind of let it happen. That's where CLG, I think, might have some promising future.
Can Rainover make it through the season, though, being strictly a PvE player as we've deemed him?
It's hard to say.
Because when it works, it looks pretty, right? Like when you get those, 3 times through stealing the Raptors and all of a sudden the other jungler is completely starved out. Looks fantastic.
Well, so what I would say is if Biofrost can pull off engages like this consistently and Rainover can play more as follow-up, then absolutely that can be their kind of mid to late game team fighting style. And Darshan, of course, I trust to be able to engage as well. So if those two are the primary engage and Rainover slots in more as follow-up, I have a lot more faith in this team's late game team fighting.
I mean, to be fair, though, it's not like we wouldn't want him to be able to play both
No,
sides.
yeah.
This is but you're defending if he is going to be strictly a PvP.
Early game
or PvE
focus.
rather, is going to be more about the others stepping up and filling those roles.
And obviously, that's kind of an oversimplification of the problem for the viewers, right? But it is stylistically him farming very efficiently and shutting down the enemy jungler's ability to farm. If he does that successfully, I actually say yes, you can get through the whole split that way.
Wow.
Because in all those instances, the enemy jungler is now a non-factor. So you're just guaranteeing yourself one advantage player, and then the other guys just get to play straight up in the lane. Not always that simple. Lanes play a lot into it, knowing when you can and can't do it, play a lot into it, but it does work very well when it works.
Just a less flashy style, if you will. Now, the highlight moments were aplenty this weekend, but the following players impressed enough to be named one of the OP5. For Week 3, they are Haunser, it's Smithy, Pobelter, Doublelift, and Smoothie. First up, TSM's Haunser.
And this was just insane Gangplank play. He is the only player in NAEU or LCK with more than one Gangplank game to not average a negative CSD because he farms even or ahead in losing matchups. He's getting counterpicked every time, farming up, creating pressure, and then also being a beast in the late game.
All right, moving right along, we find Team Liquid's Smithy in the jungle.
And we're going to get a bit of a trifecta here. Smithy, Pobelter, and Doublelift setting the record twice for fastest game. Obviously, Team Liquid's going to probably have a couple of representatives here. And Smithy in particular, comboing with Pobelter. A lot of these games were broken open off 2v2s in the mid lane, these kinds of skirmishes. And he seemed to always be where he needed to be to blow these games open as quickly as they did.
You already hit it real briefly. Let's move to the mid lane, though. Team Liquid's Pobelter. This guy is on fire right now.
18-1-7, 62% of his team's kills.
Yeah, that's not
in week
KP,
3.
guys. That is just a K.
Just kill percentage.
Just a K.
Really high. And obviously, it was a little bit of a dynamic duo with the rest of his team. As Mark mentioned, having the 2 fastest games of the split this week. Team Liquid now with the 4 fastest games of the split. And
there you go. Doublelift.
They're stepping up. They stepped up across the board, right? 22 KDA.
It was 16 coming into
CSD.
today. He's got a monster KDA. Yeah.
All right, that brings us to our 5th and final member of the OP5, would be Cloud9's Smoothie.
Feels like he has a very huge role in this team for his initiations, and he also tends to be the kind of key zoning tool in the late game around Barons, always giving his life up for the betterment of the team, getting active on the map, showing up topside just 7 minutes into the game. Huge performance out of him, and seems like kind of the premier playmaking support right now in the league.
Very much so. Now, with our games closed out, let's see how things shook out in the standings. The tie in the top has dropped to 3 teams with Cloud9, Echo Fox, and Team Liquid at 5-1 each, while 100 Thieves dropped to 4th, just above TSM and Counterlogic Gaming in 5th. Now, one of the things the standings don't show were the biggest plays of the weekend. That's why we called upon Twitter to send us your NALCS big plays, brought to you by Acer Predator. First up, Dark Shadow Zero and Asgaroth the Wise, sweet names, by the way, both did a double take as the clutch gaming jungler Lyra somehow managed to live with a hair of health.
Lyra is actually going to be caught out.
Lots of hard CC being chained in. Here comes Galio, the stopwatch to buy some time as well. The knockup, the AoE taunt there as well. As the damage going to be had, though, is Lyra about to lose his life.
Oh my
But
God.
his flag and drags out. Are you kidding me? He survives. The shock blast shoots down the bot lane as well. After low on health, the backline pushed out. And how did no one die?
The 100 Thieves collapse getting so quickly, and stopwatch so pivotal there too. They get taunted off.
Field.
It looks like
It just didn't hit him again.
yeah. I cannot believe he got out of that. The Galio ultimate damage reduction coming through so big.
Lyra!
Guys, you gotta wonder how much of that is, I mean, it was a really sweet play regardless, but you gotta wonder how much of that is like the expectation that Lyra will go down, so everyone's already starting to redirect their
That's
damage
like
elsewhere.
90%.
And then it's like, oh crap, wait, he didn't die!
They didn't even use the Shen ult on him. That's kind of the most boggling thing to me in that play.
Yeah, it looked like there could have been more that even Clutch Gaming could have done to keep him alive throughout that team fight.
Right, next up, the Garden Girl and Judge Arcadia praised Cloud9's playmaker in the bot lane and how he set up his team for success around the Baron.
If C9 can zone away Acadian, because good luck stealing from a Nunu or preventing a steal from one. Go the wall. He's got vision with the ball. This is very dangerous.
They can actually look for a Shockwave Nunu combo.
Over the wall, he's gonna flash for the headbutt, then pulverize to secure. Nicely done. They picked that up with the spike. Shockwave over the Baron, doesn't get the kill.
I can't get over it now, but
don't hit.
It's two. I don't have vision. I can go over now, but I'm gonna die.
You guys want?
I can go.
Go. Finish right now. Finish right now.
Everyone's here.
Can you back up? Back up.
I have flash.
Yeah, absolutely worth it, right? You can see the comms right there. I'll go over, but I will die. They'll be like, yeah, sounds about right. We'll take the Baron.
Yeah.
And he's going to respawn by the time there's still the buff on 4 people. Totally worth.
And at the beginning of this week, we showed his Taric play from week 2, also securing the Baron. So Smoothie, again, showing a lot of veteran status around these objectives, a lot of composure, if you will, as even in this most recent game, we saw a dragon stolen by Living Artillery of all things.
Yeah, so obviously Smoothie's helping Svenskeren out a lot because these are not easy Baron situations, but at least they're making him a little bit easier because there was an Orianna Shockwave that came in on the Baron buff there.
Absolutely. Keep on tweeting those big plays, and we'll make sure to share them every Sunday, all split long. Now, before we send you off to solo queue this week, we're going to wrap up the day by looking at a couple plays that had us scratching our heads. Just a little reminder that while we're never quite like the pros, they're sometimes a lot like us. So here we go. Question marks. First up, FlyQuest Keen, Galio ult 2 inches away.
Oh,
You want to get away with Galio? He's like, okay, they use their CC. Time to ult away. Click.
the guy next to me.
Name a teammate that's not Flame Keen.
Ah,
Flame.
I want to think like
I think.
I'm going to click on the portrait because his chocolate is probably far away from me, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Not that time. Actually, right next to you. The G, mouse over to the left. That's what all these are going to have a lot of.
Yes, very much so. Next up, FlyQuest stunts, cleanse, and TL always devour.
And this is a bit of an oopsie by both players. Stunt, for some reason, does not actually have Ignite. He has Cleanse, so he runs over to Double Lift, pops this like particle effect around him to scare him.
Yeah.
Doesn't actually do anything, and then Ole.
It was more one of those, hey, Double Lift, I bet you wish you had this spell right now.
Yeah, he was just showing
That's
it
what
off.
it was, showing Double Lift what he doesn't have.
I'm going to give Ole the benefit of the doubt. He just ate a little early. He was so eager to save Double Lift that he was still in stasis. He eats the minion.
He wanted the kill.
Nothing you could do.
He wanted the kill. He ate a minion to get the damage
Look,
later.
a misplay on both sides. They cancel each other out. It's all good. Next up, and finally, CLG's reign over Flash in place as Nudu. This one hurts.
Oh, yeah.
This one hurts me. Oh, God.
It's just...
Oh.
What?
No!
It's so painful. The flight.
We've all been there. We've all been there. Though.
Smite consume calculated by 1 off, and then you flash to get the auto attack, but it's too late. Too painful.
Can't fault him for the effort, though.
Can't.
There's some
can't.
serious.
I don't think.
Mark's like, no. I definitely.
I don't
can.
think a flash is worth the blue buff.
I could definitely fault him
Yeah.
for that. All right, before we go, or rather head off, we have to give a congratulations to the Philadelphia Eagles for winning the
No, we
Super
don't.
Bowl.
We don't need to do
All
Over
five
the Patriots.
predictions
I'm sorry,
right today.
Mr. Buzz.
Also predicted the Eagles to beat the Patriots.
It's a sad day
He
for
did not.
Mark. All right, that's going to do it for us. Now let's send it over to Freak, Azael, and Zyrene for NALCS tonight, where they'll review week's games and answer some fan tweets and look towards next week's matchups. Good night. I'm sorry, Mark. It's okay.
Yeah, I said I
all right.
no.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to NALCS Tonight. I am Freak. This is Azael. That is Zyrene on the far side. The one and only Tom Kench one trick who can't devour champions. So bringing it back to the beginning of the day. You know what? It's okay, buddy. Azael, great work. I'm proud of you so much. Let's talk about what happened at NALCS so far this week. And I'm going to talk about success stories. We're going to start out with TSM going 2-0. They broke the curse. How amazing are TSM now?
I mean, I think about as amazing as they were, right? Like, honestly, yes, it's showing better on stage, but this is a team, despite their record, people were still talking very positively about them, other coaches, other players, and even just watching them, it didn't really make sense that they were losing some of the games that they were.
Yeah, they ended up playing a little bit slower this week, which was good for them, where they were like, okay, let's not get too ahead of ourselves. Because remember, they were 11,000 gold up versus Echo Fox, and they weren't able to close that game out. Here, they kind of got to the point where they were like, okay, we're ahead. Let's not do anything stupid at this point and try to close it out cleanly, which they were able to do against both 100 Thieves and Golden Guardians.
Yeah, honestly, pretty impressed with their win over 100 Thieves. That was the actual competition of the week. I mean, Golden Guardians right now are in a really sorry state, and you probably should never have a tough game against them in their current form. And yeah, TSM, you know, had small deficits against 100 Thieves. There were some good ganks from them, and they came back well.
I'm interested to see what happens with this little meta that they're developing, where now they're playing around Sven and Mithy so much. They ran a GP Sejuani Talia for the top half of their map in both of their matches, and were able to GP ulti, provide pressure for the bottom lane, and even relieve pressure, because as somebody who wants to gank Sven and Mithy, now you have to take into account, do we have mid priority? Well, Talia could roam. Do we have a way to actually counter what GP wants to do? Because he's going to contribute to this. So I think it does help them out a whole bunch with that type of composition.
Honestly, really like seeing Haunter on carries as well, simply because I think that so much of the team is not being proactive, and this was their problem at Worlds. They're playing extremely passively. They're not making plays. They're just kind of sitting back and waiting to win the game. And I think Haunter is one of the few guys on TSM that is making proactive plays, that is being aggressive and trying to push advantages. And I like seeing him on Gangplank, and I like seeing him on carries in general, because he's someone who can make stuff happen for the team.
Yeah, so solid stuff there. Let's move on to the next team that went 2-0, Counter Logic Gaming. Up to a nice 2-0 for themselves as well, and finally going up in the standings.
As soon as Jad abandons them, the faithful are rewarded. But man, this was where they gave Echo Fox their first loss of the split, and I honestly was not expecting this type of performance, especially from Darshan in the top lane.
Yeah, I mean, Darshan, for me, has actually been really good this whole season and all last year, so I am more kind of
You're less surprised, yeah.
unsurprised by Darshan, but what I am kind of surprised by is some of the performances that were turned in by the rest of the team, because I think that, Reignover looked much better. I think that the bottom lane in 6A in particular looked massively better. And this is a team that I wasn't sure if they were going to be able to turn it around so cleanly like I was with TSM, simply because I think in their 1-3 record, they looked pretty damn bad in a lot of those games. And 6A in particular looked pretty damn bad in a lot of those games, but he turned in 2 good performances. He was solid, especially in the late game teamfights, both on Kog'Maw and Kalista. The compositions were kind of built and centered around him, and I think that is a really good thing for CLG fans to see.
It's got to be super rough because, like, Stixay, during those games, like you said, he was not performing very well. But then everybody kind of starts questioning his last, like, year and a half of professional play where they're like, was he even ever good, right? And they just keep...
You can't do that.
Immediately, that stuff starts happening, though, right? Like, it happens with TSM where it's like Hanser has a bad game on Vladimir for the second half, and everybody's like, stop putting him on carries. Like, these overreactions are very volatile, but these players are very good at these types of things. They're professional damn players, and they know if they're given the resources, then they're able to carry. But sometimes you just have off games, and one or two, they happen, especially in BO1s.
I mean, with Stixay, though, to be fair, I think some of the criticism is warranted because while I don't think you can take away, 2016 where he won his championship and MSI where I think he was incredible and, even in particular on Caitlyn, perhaps, the best Caitlyn player in the world at that time, maybe, arguments could be made.
Sure, yeah.
Either
You can put him
way.
in there.
The point is, since then, I think his performances have been much more lackluster, and it has been a while since he is, at least in my opinion, been at that superstar status. It's not that I'm saying his whole last year and a half was bad or anything, but I don't think he has really reached that 2016 level at any time during 2017. And,
I agree.
and now coming into 2018, it felt like it was more of that continuation of a downward trend. And this week he has turned it around. We'll see if he can actually continue on that path.
And you definitely thought it was going to be more of that downward trend continuing because of the fact that Aframu was no longer by his side and it was Biofrost now. But they started working things out, and it looks like that bottom lane is starting to get up there in that conversation. But there are some really good bottom lanes right now.
This is a split where, by and large, there's a lot of really good teams, a lot of really good players. So being top of the table is going to be difficult. Let's move on, though, talk about one other game that piqued our interest. Clutch Gaming versus 100 Thieves was marked pretty importantly at the beginning of the week. These teams have now kind of ended up in pretty different situations, but was a close one.
Yeah, I really like this game because of the team composition from Clutch Gaming, where they have a Shen to support their Jace top lane, and then they also have a Galio Jarvan combo. Like, this is a ton of engage for this composition, a lot of protection if they get dove, and it also has protection for their split pusher with double globals to help the Jace. Clutch Gaming actually got out to a really large lead in this game, but they weren't able to close because they started taking team fights with the Jace, and then they ended up losing despite having things like the Elder Dragons, but they had no Elemental Drakes. So this is one that, if I could say go back and watch a game for people at home, I would recommend this game because I think these Galio Jarvan, Galio Camille type compositions will start popping up even more if they makes it through the bans, of course. But playing against it is so hard, and we saw 100 Thieves find a way to actually force some fights.
Yeah, you're talking about games to watch real quick. If you don't have a lot of time to watch all the NALCS games, just go watch Liquid from last week. You've got under an hour of game time to watch part 2 of this one. Like, we talk about teams with impressive 2-0s. Liquid look insanely sharp as well.
Yeah, they've been so good. And to me, they are, the clear #1 team right now, simply because of the dominance that they have put out. They have been so good at closing out games, so good at getting early leads. And we've seen a ton of teams, even with big leads, struggle to close the games. And even if they do so, Sneaky was talking today, I believe, about how he wasn't even really sure why it was so hard to close their game because they did have a big advantage. And they're not sure why it sometimes feels so difficult to close out that game. But TL does not seem to be struggling with that whatsoever. They seem to just be absolutely obliterating a lot of these teams.
Yeah, and that's why, like, calling the top of the table right now is really difficult because I would actually put Cloud9 as my #1 right now because I've actually seen longer games from them and they aren't messing up. Whereas if you have short games, less of your flaws are actually revealed where you don't have to play those 30 minutes, those 40, 35 minutes.
Are you a better team if you can't close the game early and then you have to go longer, right?
I feel like for C9, though, those are compositional things, right? They have the Kog'Maw that has to worry about GP, Gragas. If you blow flash, you're off the table for 5 minutes. Like, they had no way to really approach those fights, and I like the way they approached them very safely, and it was a calculated thing using their advantage.
Great. We can have that discussion a bit later. We've got the rest of the show planned out. We're going to move on to Twitter questions segments. A lot of you tweeted out. At Sports had some questions for us. So first up from iSlasher says, after this week's performance, what do you guys think TSM's trajectory is going to look like from now to the end of the regular season? Is it all the way to the top, or will they encounter more hills to climb before potentially reaching there? He really thinks TSM going to do well, by the way. Whether it's going to be difficult or not, he thinks it's going to be on the top.
I mean, I definitely think that there are a lot of hills to climb. I think that this was a solid week for TSM, but, nothing against 100 Thieves. I didn't think that they were the strongest of those teams that were sitting at 4-1, right? I don't think that they're on the same level as maybe even, like, the
Liquid C9
or the
Fox.
Liquid or the Echo Fox.
Yeah.
Like, those teams, I think,
I
all
agree
are
they're worse
more
than all those
difficult.
three.
And then they beat Golden Guardians, right? Which right now is the
Everyone
worst
has.
team, clearly. So I think there's still a lot more challenges to come for TSM. If they can start picking up consecutive wins against those sorts of teams, I think I will be buying in a lot more that they will have this smooth climb. I still think TSM will end at or near the top of the table. I just don't think it's going to be that easy, and I don't think it's going to be that easy for anyone this split because there's just too many good teams and too many good players.
Speaking of ending at the top of the table, is that regular season or after playoffs? Because they have to make up games, obviously. So, like, is the regular season going to be so good they're getting a bye into playoffs?
I certainly think it's possible. I mean, they're what, like 2-3 games behind the top
They're
of
at
the table?
3-3, and the high end is 5-1.
Yeah, so really, I don't think that 2 games over the course of the next 6 weeks is that outlandish to make up. You know, if you're in 5th place or whatever in week 8, yes, then you probably can't catch up. But we're 2 games behind, right?
Yeah, and like we were saying, there's definitely going to be a lot of hills and kind of bumps for them to go over and kind of smooth out because the communication is still not 100% there for them. And they did start a little bit later in their practice from what we were hearing, right? Getting Sven and Mithy a little bit later. So we are seeing a little bit of what they would have looked like if they had had like 3 or 4 weeks of practice coming into it. So they are still ramping up, and I definitely think they're going to be climbing a bit higher, like you said, towards the top of the standings.
Cool. Well, this segues into our next topic. We got another tweet from Luke Murphy who says, how accurately do you think the current standings in the NALCS represent what it will look like later on in the season? Let's say regular season, end of week 9 compared to now. How different do you think it's going to look?
I actually think it is almost identical, except TSM would be a bit higher. Because we have TL, Echo Fox, and Cloud9 near the top. I think those are very definitively our 3 top teams.
Yeah,
plus
those 3 in top 4
could come into that top 4. Then I think 100 Thieves, CLG, with Clutch, FlyQuest right out of playoffs, and Optic Golden Guardians. I think it is very similar to how I would power rank these teams.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's going to be any massive changes. I'm pretty much in agreement. I think the bottom 3 teams are probably going to be the bottom 3 teams. You know, maybe there's some movement there with Clutch. I do think TSM will go up. I think CLG has potential to go up, but you know, it's a shuffling of a couple spots. Because the teams right now that are in the top 6 are probably who are going to be around the top 6 come playoff time.
Yeah, and that's the thing is like Clutch sitting at 7th right now. But like everybody keeps talking about that level that they have where they could make playoffs. But I feel like there's just too many cooks in the kitchen and it forces them out where you have 7 teams, 8 teams that you're like, they could be in playoffs, but literally only 6 get to go.
I know I was big on Clutch coming in, and so were you, Azale. I think you had them as 4th in your power ranks. I had them about there as well, myself coming in. Yeah, I think like they can beat 100 Thieves next time around. That first game is close. They probably should have won. You could make the argument they misplayed around the Jace. Like, you know, current form CLG, current form TSM feel like teams they can beat, and like that's a very tight race for me.
I definitely think so, but one of the things that has kind of made me have my opinion drop a little bit with Clutch, because I did think they were going to be quite a strong team, is the fact that Lyra has not been as good as I was expecting. You know, Lyra, he was incredible in spring. You know, he was considered the best jungler in the league, on the worst team in the league, basically. And now with these upgraded teammates, I was expecting him to shine even more, you know, having this really strong solo lane, you know, in the mid lane to go to, still having his bottom lane to work with, etc. But I don't think he has been super impressive, and if he's not kind of maintaining those levels, I don't really see them as that high of a team.
Yeah, that's fair. Any other thoughts from you, Zary?
I just agree. I think that Lyra's strength is always kind of getting jungle advantages, and in a tank meta, it's not really something that he could really kind of leverage. Like, the Gragas is kind of the one that I remember him for, but I very distinctly remember his Nidalee play, his Elise play, right? Like, he was very good at skirmishing, and that's not really the meta right now. It's more like just vision for the early parts of the game, and then scale later, because I really remember those games where he'd get early advantages, and then it's like, well, he's carrying the game. He's got such a big gold advantage. Why aren't they winning off this? It's because those later game team fights where the team has to come together. Lyra, as the jungler, will have less impact in these later game fights. And it's more on Apollo and Featherthin and even Solo, right, to have those influences later. But it's just not happening right now.
Okay, well, let's move forward to the next one. MPG222 says, how much is the meta influenced by a few great players establishing specific counters in the early weeks of a patch? And I'll send this not to necessarily counters, but how much are trendsetters trendsetting?
I think way too much. I think an enormous amount. I think that in general, there is a huge percentage, I would say like 90+% of pros, like across the world, it feels like just emulate as far as this is the pick that is good. Okay, Faker's playing this, that's what I will now practice. Okay, Bjergsen's playing this is what I will now practice. Smeb is going to do this. That's
I was like, I don't know if you take your cues from Faker right now.
Faker is still great.
For the first 6 years, you definitely
He's just 1v9. But anyway, that's a different topic. But regardless, I just think that people are, because there's a limited amount of scrims, because there's a limited amount of practice time, people are caught up in this idea that you have to be, you know, you can't be wasting time playing other things. So they just copy whatever is meta, they practice that, and That's what they do.
And I think there is another factor in there too, is it can't consume too much of your time, or else we'd be seeing Lucian into Gangplank every time, right? Where like Huni busted that out, that is not setting a trend, that is having a specific counter pick. Where Huhi
And
had
Gangplank is like the most
Soul.
blind pick top laner. Like
Right?
this is something that you probably should practice to see if it's good because you're gonna run into the matchup.
Exactly.
Also hard to play though.
It is
Yeah.
hard to play.
It's
And
just like the Riven, coming out in LCK and top lane. You could be like, oh, that's really good in a GP. Okay, well, I guess I'll just bring Riven out next week.
Yeah,
Okay,
and
we'll
that's
play
hard.
500 games first.
It has to be accessible, right? It has to be something where your time investment is going to see immediate returns, where it's like rather easy to pick up for you, or you have previous games on it.
Yeah.
That's why nobody's like picked up the Aurelion Soul, right, back in the day.
That's an exact example I wanted to bring up myself. And you're right. I think like you're all speaking truths that you have an economy of time and spending it properly. If you have too many test points, you're like, well, was Lucian good, or should we not have tried Maokai support this game? And well, if you got two things going that are weird, sorry, we can't know what the real reason was why we got outscaled in team fights because we have no front line. Was it the wrong tank support? Was it the wrong top lane? But I think there is a certain degree where it's a bit unforgivable. My favorite story of this is Aurelion Soul MSI, where Xiaohu said he never even played Aurelion Soul, didn't know what he did. It's like, you're a professional mid laner, and Aurelion Soul's in the tournament you're playing. How do you not know the champion's abilities? And maybe that's a misquoted interview, maybe that's
It's
attributed,
really common.
but it's really common.
Yeah.
I mean,
from what
I
can tell.
remember, I want to say this was in NALCS playoffs last year when an Urgot came out and hearing, the team did not even know what the abilities that the Urgot used were. Like, they were trying to figure it out during the game. They're like, well, I know he does this.
Seems familiar, yeah.
I think he has a flip. His ult and execute. Hearing these kind of
If only
things.
there was like a video resource that like went on the League of Legends YouTube that spotlighted the champions and what their abilities were.
Just read the tooltips, right? At the
Also
very
that,
least, but definitely it is way more common than you think. And talking to Mark, he talks about that kind of stuff all the time. How even sometimes he would brief pros on certain patch changes.
For
and
reference,
then,
like Mark used to be a coach or analyst for Team Liquid.
Yeah,
Continue.
Before they were good.
Yeah, when they were still bad, Mark's working with the team. Now they're great. But you're saying he
in this
would
case,
he would brief
correlation
players.
causation.
Yeah,
but,
for sure.
but either
Brief
way,
players.
He would brief players on patch changes, and then during the games, he would hear them talking about, what is that? I didn't know it does this. And he's like, I told you.
Yeah, players a lot of times don't read patch notes or really look at their builds sometimes. Like even Huni, earlier in the year, he bought both Sterix and Ma, which they are unique passive or unique passives
you can't
that
get both
activate,
shields.
right?
Yeah.
You can't get both shields. The lifeline was actually changed to just a single thing. So I was like,
A year ago.
what are you doing?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah.
All right, so one final topic for us here on NALCS tonight is the look ahead to next week's games, and honestly, there are some nuts ones. Most notably, though it's not all today, TL plays the top of the table. They've got TL Cloud9 second game of the day, which is super nuts on Saturday, but Sunday has some pretty incredible games as well, as T will take on Echo Fox. Also, TSM versus CLG is going to be massive. What stands out to you guys?
Cloud9 Liquid, we're going to find out if, TL has those flaws in the later game.
Yeah.
What if they just win in 25 minutes? Then they still have the flaws in the late game.
It's still Cloud9 who's better.
Yeah,
They'll win at
exactly.
35.
But like my argument for that is I've actually seen more of Cloud9, so I know what they look like in those late game situations.
I've seen them win for longer. They must be
Yeah,
the better
I mean,
team.
Wait, I
TL just
we're
wins
trolling.
too fast and too easily. You don't get to see enough game time, so they
I don't
probably
know why
suck.
this is such a ridiculous concept to you two, because
mostly
if somebody
kidding.
plays for longer, you're going to see more flaws, more things that could actually be like cracks in the armor. Whereas if you play a fast early game and you're able to close out, then you aren't able to show those things, right? It's like a whole thing where you're playing a bunch of early game and you're not playing the late game. You will tend to have more. I'm not saying that they will, but I'm saying that I have seen Cloud9 in those situations, so I know that they're okay and I can give them a check mark there, where I don't know if TL can.
I think it makes sense if you're saying if you're playing a full early game comp and then you're just winning early game, then that makes sense. But a lot of times, TL still is playing Tristana and these sorts of things where I feel they still have a strong late game, right? And in that case, I don't think you can really lose marks for winning early. But obviously, it's just personal.
Yeah, I'm not saying they lose marks. I'm saying C9 passed those marks where I can't give them the
It's
marks
undefined
yet
for you.
for TL.
I can see your kind of point there. Also, matches that I'm kind of interested in. I think it's TSM plays Clutch, which is a potentially playoff seeding battle, as well as FlyQuest taking on another squad kind of. I think it's 100 Thieves, something like that. So a lot of these playoff sessions, you guys talked about how basically 4, 5, 6, 7 is pretty nebulous, and like one of those teams is out, maybe two of those teams are out, and that's going to be tough one to watch for.
And there's CLG TSM as well, right?
On Sunday, right?
And Sven was going Super Saiyan on the screen there, so you have to see how,
Looks super
he
cool.
performs next week.
Next week, week 4.
All right, he's going to power up for about 6 days.
Exactly.
We'll see him come in. Thank you very much for watching NALCS tonight. That's going to do it for us. Thank you both very much for lending your opinions. Sorry for making fun of you so much for liking Cloud9's late games, Irene.
It's okay.
But you're wrong. Bye, everyone.
There's a four-way tie for first and a four-way tie for fifth as we approach the end of week 3, and it's time to see if any teams can break the mold in today's game.
Oh, yes, the dance party.
Give him the donk. Give him the donk.
Calvo.